To add a whole number and a mixed fraction, I have two ways to do that. The first one is to add the two whole numbers together, the 4 and the 2. So 4 plus 2 equals 6. Then I have to add the third proper fraction to the 6. So 6 add a third equals 6 and 1/3. The second method to do that is to turn the whole number into fraction form by putting it over 1. Then I have to add the mixed fraction, which I have to change into an improper or top heavy fraction. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 3. Now I have two fractions with different denominators, so I have to create equivalent fractions. So I have to put 4 over 1 and 7 over 3. And I have to find the common multiple of the denominators. The lowest common multiple is 3. That's 1 times 3. And I have to do the same to the 4. And the 3 times the 1. And I have to do the same to the 7. That equals 4 times 3 is 12 over 3 plus 7 over 3, and that equals 12 add 7 over 3, that equals 19 over 3. I can change that to a mixed fraction. There are 6 3's in 19, and that leaves 1 out of 3. If I am adding mixed fractions together, I also have two ways to do that. The first one is to add the whole numbers together. That's 2 add 1, which equals 3. Then I have to add the 1/4 and the 2/5 together. Now I have two fractions with different denominators, so I have to create equivalent fractions. So 1/4 add 2/5. The common multiple of the denominators is 20, so that's 4 times 5, and I have to do the same to the 1, and then 5 times 4, and I have to do the same to the 2, and that equals 5 times 1 is 5 over 20, plus 2 times 4 is 8 over 20, and that equals 13. 5 plus 8 is 13 over 20. I now have to add that to my 3, so that's 3 add 13 over 20, and that gives me 3 and 13/20. The second method is where I have to change the mixed fraction into a top heavy fraction. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4, add. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 2 is 7 over 5. I now have to create equivalent fractions for these. That's 9 over 4, plus 7 over 5. The common multiple is 4 times 5, so 4 times the 5. And I do the same to the 9, and the 5 times by the 4, and I do the same to the 7. And that equals 45 over 20 plus 28 over 20, which equals 45 add 28 is 73 over 20. There are 3 20's in 73, and that makes 60, leaving 13 out of 20, which is the same answer as before.